Hey YouTube, this is going to be a short video about the question of can you apply KonMari when you're cleaning someone else's home? Yeah, so there's been a lot of interesting KonMari content that I posted, so I thought I would do another one. And this time, rather than talking about my own home, I want to talk about the experience of cleaning out my mom's house. Mom, I hope you're not watching this, but if you are, hi, I won't be mean, I promise. But the experience of cleaning out my mom's house after I had applied the KonMari method to my own home. So Marie Kondo does talk about engaging others in the family, others in the household in her method and what that looks like. And it's very, very important that those people own their own process. So to be clear, I'm not talking about actually doing KonMari in someone else's home because I would not try that. I am tempted to get my mom to book and see if anything does resonate with her, but the background of this story is that I had offered to do a sort of first major clean out. My mom has been living in her home for my age plus, 40 years, I think. And also was the only kid in her family who still lived in the city that her parents lived in, so she has a lot of like stuff from her parents' house, stuff from her house, stuff from everybody's house. And, you know, lives in this 3-bedroom home, wants to eventually downsize to an apartment, has wanted to for a long time, but I think the whole process is just really daunting. And it was not going to get done in one trip. I knew that, but I wanted to come home for about a week and just spend some time with my, young adult muscles and patience for such things, helping her to get some of the stuff out of her home and to Goodwill or to the dumpster where that was appropriate. So I think it was about a month after I'd done KonMari in my own apartment, and I at no point suggested that we actually apply the method. I do think when I arrived at her house, I thought I was going to be controlling the process a little more, but I also knew it was likely that that wouldn't be true, so I was like ready for her to take over. And she didn't really take over, but she was definitely more active than I expected in certain areas. I did find that knowing the method and having applied the method did make it easier to work through someone else's stuff. I couldn't do Spark Joy with someone else's stuff, and I didn't ask her to do Spark Joy with her own stuff, but other parts of the method were useful. For example, I do think it's useful when cleaning out somebody else's house or helping them to organize to do the whole get everything out, like get everything in piles. I couldn't quite do functional piles like all the books, for example, because they were just all over the house, and we have an attic, we have a building in the backyard, so it wasn't practical to do it that way. But I also didn't quite do it by room, so I was more towards the functional method of pulling out things of a similar type, trying to go through them. And I do think that it was helpful. I mean, I think the state that my mom is at in her life, so I think this may vary if you're helping a younger person, older person, with their stuff. With somebody who has lived quite a lot of life, you get to a point where you're just done, right? And there are definitely things that she finds important, sentimental, possibly valuable monetarily, she didn't want to part with, but she was ready in a lot of areas to just say only you can decide. It's fine, or get rid of everything. So that was helpful. And I do think, having gone through the practice of what seemed like a really daunting process in my own home, going through the KonMari method, which I did in pieces over the period about a month or two, made it a lot easier to say I'm going to take a week and I'm going to do this. It still was daunting, but it felt less daunting because I had seen the relief that you feel and how nice it is to just go with it. And I was able to kind of prompt sometimes, not trying to push the method onto her, but to ask questions and prompt things like, hey, if you're not sure about a thing, what purpose did it serve for you? And then, hey, it doesn't sound like that purpose is currently relevant. So that's my favorite part of the KonMari method, is saying goodbye to acknowledging what their purpose was. which makes it a lot easier to part with them. And I think that is something that's fairly digestible and easy to share with someone else if they're struggling with letting go of things. So yeah, that's some basics. We did not fold. We did not, you know, in a lot of ways, like, we weren't really applying the method, but I do think that having that experience can apply to other times when you have to do cleaning and organizing that aren't applying the method, and that it can be useful. So there you go. Have you tried to gift anybody the Marie Kondo book? Have you had any experience decluttering or cleaning out other people's homes? What was that like? Did you apply Marie Kondo? Did you not even try? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.